You ever use an app that just works? It's so smooth, so reliable, you kind of feel like it's magic. Well, I'm here to tell you that magic is absolutely no accident. It's actually the result of some brilliant and most of the time completely invisible engineering. And today, we're going to pull back that curtain.
This quote right here just nails it. The most important, most valuable work that goes into building the platforms we use every single day, like Netflix or Uber, it's all designed specifically so that you, the user, never ever have to think about it.
So in this explainer, we're going to reveal 3 powerful invisible patterns that tech giants use to create those seamless experiences we all love. Let's jump right into the first one.
First up, we've got a pattern with a pretty fascinating name, the Strangler Fig. And our case study here is none other than Netflix, right in the middle of one of the biggest transformations in its entire history.
Now, before we get into the tech stuff, just picture the actual plant. A strangler fig, it starts out small on a host tree, but over years, it grows, it surrounds, and eventually it just completely replaces it. That's the whole idea here, a slow, steady, and really safe takeover.
So what was the host tree for Netflix? Well, it was their original, massive, all-in-one system from back in the DVD by mail days. And the challenge was just monumental. How do you move over 200 million streaming users to a totally new cloud-based platform without ever turning the service off? I mean, a single hour of downtime could cost millions. No pressure, right? And their approach was incredibly smart. They didn't do some risky all-at-once switch. No way. Instead, they strangled that old system piece by piece. As you see here, they started by routing new things like new signups to the new system. Then they slowly moved over groups of users. But the really critical part was running both systems at the same time, what they called shadow mode, so they could compare everything and make sure it was perfect before making that final cutover. So here's the kicker. While Netflix was basically performing open-heart surgery on its entire system, you were at home binge-watching your favorite show without a single glitch. This whole multi-year process was completely invisible to you. That's the point.
Okay, so if the Strangler Fig is all about evolving safely, our second pattern is about surviving failure. It's called the bulkhead, and it is all about resilience. For this one, we're looking at Uber's strategy for keeping things running when stuff goes wrong. The analogy here is just perfect. On a huge ship, the hull is divided into these watertight compartments, right? They're called bulkheads. If one section gets a leak, the doors seal it off, containing the water and, preventing the whole ship from sinking. This pattern applies that exact same logic to software.
And for a company like Uber, this is absolutely mission critical. Think about it. At any given moment, millions of rides are being requested. If one small part of their system fails, let's say payment processing, you absolutely cannot let it take down the entire app. You can't let it sink the ship. And the difference is just night and day. Check out this comparison. Without this pattern, a simple payment glitch could cascade and just crash everything. Nobody can book a ride. But with the bulkhead pattern, that failure is contained. The payment service might be having a bad day, but you can still request a ride, get where you're going, and maybe just pay for it later.
So how do they actually pull this off? Well, they create these digital bulkheads by isolating all their resources. This means different services, like payments and ride matching, get their own dedicated CPU power and memory. And they use things like circuit breakers, which act just like the ones in your house, to automatically trip and prevent a surge in one area from taking out the whole system. It's like giving each service its own little watertight room.
And here it is again, that same theme. A failure happens, and believe me, in systems this complex, failures always happen. But it's contained. The core parts of the app just keep on working, and for most of us, the experience is totally uninterrupted. And that's the magic of invisible resilience.
All right, our third and final pattern is called the sidecar. For this, we're going to look at Shopify, a platform that has to handle some of the most intense traffic spikes you can possibly imagine.
I love this analogy. Just picture a motorcycle with a sidecar attached. The main motorcycle, its job is to do one thing: drive. The sidecar is attached to it, it carries extra gear, but it's a completely separate unit. In software, it's the same thing. The main application handles the core job, while an attached sidecar process handles all the essential but secondary stuff, like logging or monitoring. This becomes so important when you're operating at a huge scale. Shopify runs hundreds and hundreds of different services. Now, if they needed to add a new security feature or update their logging system, they can't afford to go into every single one of those hundreds of services and rewrite the code. I mean, that would be an absolute nightmare. And to give you a sense of Shopify's scale, just look at this number. During their peak on Black Friday last year, their systems handled 3.5 million requests every single minute. When you're at that volume, efficiency is literally everything.
So how did the sidecar pattern help them survive that? Well, by attaching a sidecar to each service, Shopify could get real-time performance data, automatically manage traffic to prevent overloads, and even roll out critical security updates without taking anything offline. It neatly separates the business stuff from the operational stuff.
And what's the result? The core services, the ones that actually processed your purchase, get to stay lean, fast, and totally focused on their one job. All the heavy lifting of monitoring and security is offloaded to that sidecar, keeping the user experience snappy even under insane load. The shopper just feels a fast, smooth checkout. The complexity underneath, by design, invisible.
So we've looked at 3 really distinct patterns. Now let's kind of zoom out and tie it all together and really understand why these aren't just clever tech tricks, but are huge strategic advantages for a business.
So here's a quick recap. We had the Strangler Fig, used by Netflix, which lets a business evolve safely. We had the bulkhead, used by Uber, which delivers incredible resilience against failure. And we had the sidecar, used by Shopify, that enables operations at a massive scale.
When you put all these capabilities together, you get the key advantages that these huge tech platforms have. They can grow to millions of users, constantly update their systems without breaking everything, they can withstand failures, and they deliver a consistently fast and reliable experience. That is a massive, massive competitive advantage.
And that's really the bottom line here. These invisible patterns are what separate a premium platform from, well, everyone else. They are the hidden architecture that turns these incredibly complex, fragile systems into something that feels robust, reliable, and yeah, even a little bit magical.
So, the next time you're using an app and it works flawlessly under pressure, you'll know it's not actually magic. It's a set of powerful, invisible choices. Which kind of makes you wonder, what other things in our daily lives that seem totally effortless are actually the product of some incredible hidden design?